Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel, Beautifully Nerding. I hope you all are doing well. How's it going? Now, I wanted to get back to my favorite series on here, Black Classics. Now, this is where I watch classic black movies from the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s because I did not watch them as a child. And I know that y'all are going to be mad at me this week, okay? But you all have already read the title. So we're just gonna get into it. I finally watched Soul Food. And this is one of those movies that like I thought that I had like kind of seen it, of like walking in, of like seeing different scenes here and there. I'm like, oh, I've like probably seen it, like, and just didn't realize it. I have not seen this movie. When I was watching it, I was like, oh, this is a whole new world. I don't know any of this. It was just so many things that I had in mind as I was preparing to watch this movie that as it was going, I was like, what in the world is happening right now? So we're just gonna jump straight into it because I feel like even if you don't know the major plot point of the movie does not hold back at letting you know that tragedy is about to befall this family. So we open up at a wedding and we get an immediate layout of everyone from the wedding from Ahmad. And we get introduced to the sisters, who are Terry, Max, and Bird, and then we meet their respective husbands. So this is Bird's wedding to Lim. And then we also meet this like super disgusting, somebody needs to call the people on this man, Reverend, who it was one of those things that like, oh, you know how he is, like the way that so many behaviors got excused.
Reverend Williams ain't even can, but he's always got something to say or eat.
Oh, Mama Joe, how you doing, baby? Oh, you looking so good. Mama Joe, them daughters are looking good too. Oh, especially that baby bird. I was teasing with that little big mama. I said, would you marry the Reverend? She's a Reverend. If I marry, I got to have sex every night. I was going to put the Reverend down for Tuesday.
Why would you say this to someone on their daughter's wedding day? It was a few things in this movie that I was just like, we don't feel no type of way about this. But we learn so intensely how important Big Mama is in everyone's life, and that's an immediate flag to me that's like, oh yeah, no, Big Mama is not much longer for this world. Because I'm like, it's way too early for y'all to be putting her on this high of a pedestal. Like, the movie is barely started and you're just like, the ground that Big Mama walks on is gold. She cries diamonds and she has healing hands to bring everyone together. And it's just like, why are we doing so much so soon? So we see the sisters' relationships with each other, and then also kind of learn what they're doing in their own lives. Bird has opened her hair salon, but like her old flame is still like, hey girl, what's good? You know, your new boy can't buy you jewelry like I can.
A wedding gift. I know you like the finer things in life. And I know your man can't afford to buy you shit. Let me just get it for you.
And then Maxine has her baby, so she's up to 3 kids. Kenny got them a brand new MacBook, and it's funny because I'm gonna go on a tangent real quick because I remember having those big back, super colorful Macs as a kid, like in school. And I remember like everyone wanting to get to like their favorite colors. And I remember like transitioning from the super colorful Macs to like the black PCs and just being like, where'd the color go? Like, so I'm glad that like tech companies are like bringing more color into things, because it literally went from like Skittles in the computer lab to just like Mr. Smith standing in, like, where's the fun? But it's funny to watch in movies how technology is changing, because just a few decades ago, none of this existed. Like, and it's like, it's moving so fast, and it's like you're watching something from the late 90s and like no one has a cell phone, and it's like, oh yeah, this is a relatively recent invention. Now we have robots doing dances and backflips and AI pop stars. Like, technology is really a wonder. But anyway, So we have the last sister, her name is Terry, and both her and her husband are lawyers, and she's just very like highfalutin, holier than thou. It's one of those like, obviously this is a front, like what's really going on behind closed doors, because it's something going on. But most important to the story of the family, because everybody loves Big Mama. Big Mama is the glue that holds everybody together. But Big Mama Sugars,
You ain't been taking your insulin. And I bet you ain't been to a doctor either.
Maxine, I told you I don't need no doctor. Now, there's nothing that little salve, the turpentine, or my herbs won't cure.
Except your diabetes.
and they like, okay, but you need to actually go to a doctor. And so they go to the doctor, and the doctor's like, yeah, you're gonna have to get this leg amputated. And Big Mama's like, what you're not gonna do is that. But eventually, because the movie has the movie, she does go to get the surgery. There's a complication, she has a stroke, and she's in a coma. And so essentially the majority of the movie happens while Big Mama is away, because no one seems to have any type of common sense or self-control without Big Mama's presence. So the entirety of the movie is without Big Mama, which was a shock to me, because I thought this scene right here was at the end of the movie. Like, I thought this was the inciting event. She gets sick at the beginning of the movie, and she's just gone. Like, she's just in the hospital for the entirety of the movie. So yeah, that's when I knew that I fully had not seen this movie before, and I was in for a wild ride. I feel like a really important thing about movies like this is that they always have some type of message, and there were a few that I really liked. Like, one of them was like when Lynn went on his monologue about the flawed like re-entry system, because he is an ex-convict and he's trying to get back into society, but he marked that he had not been convicted on the application so he could get the job. He got fired from the job because they found out. Now he's back trying to apply for jobs, and it's not working out.
Well, what about us?
It's not about us. It's about this stupid-ass bullshit system. They lock you up and expect you to do something better with your life, but when you get out, there ain't nothing better, because the crackers that got everything don't give you a second chance.
You know what? That white man shit is old, and I'm sick and tired of niggas using that shit as an excuse.
Hey. I'm the one who's been on 6 interviews. 6! They won't hire me. So what you know about being a black man anyway?
After Bird finds out that Lim lost his job, because Lim wasn't going to tell her, he was just going to find another job and then be like, hey, I'm working here now. Bird goes back to that ex, so I was telling you before, it's like, hey girl, what's good? And it's like, hey, can you get my man a job? You thought it was a good idea to ask your ex to get your husband a job. Now, I'm not the gender politics, gender wars, women do this and men do that type of person. But I just feel like as you are in a new relationship with someone, going back to someone you used to have a connection with and no longer do, but that other person still wants to have a connection with you, is grimy. Like, I'll be at because they do the whole like, oh, a man needs to feel like this, and like, putting all that aside, this man still wants you. So going to him and being like, hey, do me a favor, as if that wasn't gonna come back and bite everybody in the butt. Now, granted, the way that Lynn handled it was not good. I don't agree with that, but I'm just saying Bird should have never done that. Because after Lim gets the new job that he actually had experience for, and probably without the record, or if someone actually gave him a chance, he'd been really good at the job. But of course, El DeBarge is like going down there and causing trouble and being like, oh, Cola, that's just my little name for her. Did homie really just think he was gonna be able to go down there and just talk in this man's face and what not gonna happen? Because even I knew he was about to get punched in the face, and I had never seen this movie before. How you think you're just gonna walk into an ex-con's face and be like, yeah, I used to mess with your girl? And you think this is gonna go well for you? How? We learn about everybody's situations. Big Mama's in the hospital, and pretty much everything implodes within the family. So we got infidelity, we got insecurities, we got cases getting caught. We are way past the point of the caca hitting the fan, okay? But in the end, Ahmad like hatches a plan and he's like, we're gonna have Sunday dinner. Because, spoiler, Big Mama does die. It's just later in the movie. Ahmad just happened to be at the hospital when Big Mama woke up from her coma and was like, oh, I need you to... And that's all she was able to get out.
What, Lou?
Dead presidents.
Cash?
When did she leave it to you?
The day she died. So I was the only one at the hospital. And Big Mama told me where she stashed a lot of money from me. None of y'all knew about it.
So how much money you talking about? Lots.
I mean, buku.
Ahmad understood that what Big Mama was trying to say was to get everyone back together for Sunday dinner, because while Big Mama herself was a very impactful component of the family staying tightly knit, it was also them being able to come together, sit down and have conversations and hash things out as a family that really kept everyone tightly knit. And so everyone comes together for the dinner. Tensions get really, really high, but eventually they are able to work it out. Even though the baby almost burns the house down, which was foreshadowed in the beginning. But for some reason, I didn't fully process that, because Ahmad puts a towel on the stove and Big Mama's like, hey, don't put that on the stove. You could burn the house down. My brain didn't process that, because almost immediately after she burns her arm, and I completely forgot that she even said the part about the towel. The baby puts the towel on the stove and like burns up the... First, it doesn't burn up the whole house, which everyone is like losing their minds, like, oh my god, the house. And I'm like, it's literally one wall. Like, it's fine, just repaint it. Especially because Uncle Pete came in and had like a TV full of money, because there was a rumor going around that Big Mama had been hiding money somewhere, and everyone's like, oh, it's a rumor. And I was immediately like, okay, so you got Uncle Pete, who's up in his room, who never comes out, who don't talk to nobody. Y'all got to feed him through the door. Of course it's in his room. I thought it was obvious, but he came down and was like, here's the money, friends. Like, Uncle Pete's addition to the story was wild, because it gave... You remember in Medea's family reunion where Cicely Tyson was giving her a monologue and was like, we're a family, we gotta come together. Like, that's what Uncle Pete gave. Like, he had been in his room the entire movie and missed the funeral, and then just happened to be sitting at the dining room table.
Uncle Pete? What you doing out of your room?
We going to the creek today, Joe? We can catch some trout for dinner. Put it in the iron pot, sealed with lard or cooking oil, Joe.
No. I'm Maxine, Uncle Pete. Joe's daughter.
What exactly does his presence serve in the story? Because I feel like we could have done without it. No, like, nothing against Uncle Pete. I'm just saying that maybe it didn't add as much to the story as they thought it did. But honestly, I really understand why y'all enjoy this movie as much as you do, because not only does it reinforce the strength of familial ties, but also the importance of found family, because Big Mama always opened her home and her kitchen to pretty much anyone who was hungry. And so it was bringing those people in and being like, hey, you have a community here, and kind of saying that the whole point of soul food was a way that people who didn't have much showed their love to one another by cooking. And so that was Big Mama's way of saying that, you know, that she loved you, that she was there for you. I really liked the movie. The part that I took away from it the most, and the part that I take away from most movies, is that most conflict can be solved with a conversation. Like, just sit down and be like, hey, you're not going to like what I have to say, but I am not happy. And also, I want to pursue my music full time because being a lawyer does not make me happy. Instead of sulking around and stealing $5,000 out of your joint savings account and going behind their back and messing with their cousin. I just feel like if you're unhappy, just say that. And yeah, that's pretty much the movie. I definitely skipped over a lot of parts because it is almost 2 hours long. Again, I definitely thought there was way more Big Mama, but I understand that she was more of a plot driver than a main character, and I can appreciate that. You know, sometimes you just need a source to bring everybody together. But let me know, what are some things that you all thought about the movie? What are some main themes that you all think of when it comes to this movie? But yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe, share with all your friends. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and thank you for watching. Bye.